Welcome back to another episode of Being Sadaf. Today, I have the honor of having two of the most amazing people I have met through a cold Instagram text, and he actually responded. He is a Hollywood producer, but get ready, guys. Him and his wife are super dynamic, and I have a long intro for you. My two guests are two of the most multi-hyphenated individuals I have ever met. What happens when Hollywood meets hustle, when bodybuilding meets Bollywood, and a husband and wife team takes on Hollywood and wins? Today's guests have done what most filmmakers only dream about. Ron Ray, an actor, director, producer, produced multiple award-winning Netflix original hit feature film, Trees of Peace, which launched the career of a first-time female writer-director and 4 new actresses in Hollywood. Trees of Peace was released in 191 countries, in 32 languages, and was top 10 in 60 countries, with a Rotten Tomatoes score of 100% from critics and 85% from audiences. This is a huge deal, guys. Since the movie was independently financed and produced by Ron and Michelle Ray's production company, RR Film Production. Besides this, Ron has been a professional money manager on Wall Street for 28 years. Whew. So that was a long introduction of Ron Ray. Now I'm going to introduce his wife, Michelle. His wife, Michelle Ray, is a writer, producer, editor, DJ. Get this, guys. IFBB Fitness Pro National Bodybuilding Champion. Also a real estate investor, a realtor, and worked in visual effects for 16 years in business development and strategy while launching her very first feature film. Together for almost 20 years, Ron and Michelle Ray are rewriting the rules of what's possible in Hollywood, in business and in life. So now you can understand why I waited a year and was very patient to interview my guest, Ron, and his wife, Michelle. He refused, actually, to do the podcast because Michelle was undergoing surgery, which I was so enamored by, because a man standing by his wife is the most honorable thing. And I have so much respect for both of you. So I'm going to toss it to Ron, and I want him to tell his story.
First of all, thank you for having us, Sadaf. So when you reached out to me on Instagram, and I get a lot of these messages, what I really appreciated is how professional you were and genuine. And that's a big deal, because that's one of the things I value the most is professionalism. And just to give you guys an example, she flew all the way from Cincinnati to Las Vegas, got this studio and do this, because most people don't invest in what they do. And that's, you are your brand, right? And I think that's should be really applauded. And so first of all, thank you so much for going through that and having us here. Now, the reason I initially refused is my wife was having a surgery, and my wife is one of those people that does so much work in the back, but never talks about it. She's never about how much money I'm going to get, what's my title. And I want her to be right next to me when we're talking about success, because without her, I wouldn't be successful. And that was the reason for that.
No, I really appreciated that, and I so much respect for you. Also, you guys, I totally missed something that I remember about Ron. He worked with the biggest Bollywood actor, Hrithik Roshan, which was filmed right here in Vegas, the movie Kites, which I think is phenomenal and so amazing. And I think that was probably one of the start of your career.
Well, no, I started acting back in, when I was 15, actually, and I actually went back to Bollywood. I lived in Mumbai, India for about a year, did 11 projects, and then kind of ran out of money, came back to, America. But I've been acting on and off for a long time. But if you want me to tell your story, I'll start there, because that's a good start.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love that.
So I went, all my life, I started acting when I was 15, wanted to be an actor. I grew up watching Bollywood movies. I was a really good dancer, and I was always into dancing, and Bollywood movies have a lot of dancing. So I was I want to dance, and that's why I wanted to be an actor. And, but then we left America when I was 14. Left India when I was 14 and came to America. Got busy with school, sports, and all that stuff. And of course, South Asian parents, you're not going to be an actor. You're going to be either doctor, engineer, or lawyer, or you're a failure in life. And so I ended up graduating from Purdue and got this great job at Bank One. And in 3 years, I got 5 promotions. And then, but deep down inside, I was not fulfilled. I was like, I want to do acting. But whatever I do, I tend to do my best. And then I won a trip for 2 people to anywhere in the world for being the best employee at the bank. At that time, whoever I was dating, I took that person and I went to Mumbai, India.
Oh my God.
And I called my CEO of the bank and I said, thank you so much for being so kind to me, but my dream's been to be an actor. I quit. I'm going to stay back.
Whoa.
And the CEO was actually very nice to me. And the CEO said, I applaud you. You're so young. I was like 25 years old. And by the way, I was broke. I had $1,000 to my name. So it was hilarious. And I stayed back and I slept on the floor. And even though I was in India, I was still an American because I left India when I was 14 and I didn't know anybody. Anyway, I hustled. I went to all this thing. I did all these projects, didn't get paid for 8 of the 11. Make a long story short, came back to America. That girl I was dating had moved to Vegas. And I was flying to Vegas to see her. And I met this guy on a plane who was a senior vice president for Smith Barney. I ended up talking to him for 4 hours on the plane. And by the way, this is when I'm dead broke. All my credit cards are delinquent, student loans delinquent. Only thing I was current on my car payment and cell phone. Without a car payment and cell phone, you can't go anywhere in life. And he convinced me to interview for a Wall Street job. And I remember I went to the job wearing jeans and a t-shirt because I didn't have a suit. I didn't have money to buy one. Make a long story short, again, 4 or 5 firms were bidding for me. I ended up joining Payne Weber as a stockbroker.
Nice.
But they were going to pay me for 3 weeks until I passed the Series 7. And me and the girl had broken up. I had nowhere to stay. I was sleeping in my car and I was taking shower at the 24-hour fitness. I was basically homeless for 3 weeks. I was sleeping in my car, taking shower at 24-hour fitness in Green Valley, which was the first 24-hour fitness. And I remember nobody knew. And I went to training, and the first day in training, they said, look to your left, look to your right. 50% of you won't be here 3 to 6 months from now. And I said to myself, well, I'm getting this salary. I'm going to get this money together in 3 to 6 months. I'm going to get fired anyway. I don't know any rich people. So I'm not going to make it. So I'm just going to take that money and go back to Bollywood to be an actor. That was my big plan.
That was your plan, just go back to Bollywood.
Well, fast forward 28 years later, I'm still standing. I'm one of the only people left out of my class that's still working as a money manager, and I have my own firm.
And you're still a money manager.
I'm still a money manager. And then what I did was I took that money and I started with UBS, and which Payne Weber got bought out by UBS. I started with them in 97. 2002, I took all my clients, launched my own firm, money management firm. In 2005, I launched my production company. I circled back to my dream.
And how'd you do that?
Basically, what happened was in that time, I kept going to Hollywood to interview. Audition. I kept going back to audition. And every audition I would go to, they would look at me and I'm like, I'm here to audition for the Indian guy. And they would go, you can't audition for the Indian guy. And I'm like, why not? At first, they wouldn't tell me. But then they said, oh, you don't look Indian. I go, what do I look like? They said, you look Mexican or Italian or whatever. And I was like...
yeah, you don't look too Indian at all.
Yeah. So I said, well, you said I look Mexican? He goes, yeah. I go, are you casting for a Mexican or Latino? He goes, yeah, our second lead is Mexican. I said, great. Can I audition for that? I'm actually fluent in 5 languages. I'm fluent in Spanish. And the guy would look at me or the lady and they would go, yeah, but you don't look... you're not Mexican. We want authentic Mexican. So essentially, I couldn't even audition because I didn't look the part, but whatever I looked like, I wasn't good enough to do that. So I got so frustrated. I said, well, these guys are not going to let me in through the door. So I'm going to build a house and they're going to come work for me one day. So I sat at Barnes & Noble in Vegas in Town Square for about 2 years. And I read every book on production and directing and everything for 2 years, every weekend, every free time. And I launched my production company. I wrote a pilot.
Wow.
And I convinced people in Hollywood to come work for me. And the budget was $5,000. I bought that's when the HD revolution was starting, HD camera.
Yes, I remember.
And I bought this camera that was $7,500 on my credit card. And I hired all these people. And I remember I hired this kid who had graduated Yale Film School because I figured he knows how to produce. I don't. Everything I told him, he kept telling me what I wrote needed $150,000. And I'm like, I'm not spending $150,000 on a short film, which is a pilot, which might not even take off. After 3 days, I fired him because I said, go home. He goes, you're going to fail. I said, okay, let me fail on my own merit. But I think anything is possible.
Absolutely. Okay? Look at you now.
Yeah. And at that time, when I got rid of him, I didn't know how to produce. But I'll fast forward. That short won 17 film festivals. And I went on to
Wow.
do 26 shorts.
So what is the name of the short?
It's called Foursome, but it's a comedy.
Okay. That's the one we were talking about before
That's
we
what
started.
talking
Okay,
about, yeah.
got it.
So that was a short we did, and it won 17 film festivals. And
Amazing.
most importantly, it told me I had the goods to produce. And then I went on to do another 25 more short films.
Mm-hmm.
Some I produced only, some I directed, some I acted, produced. But every short I did just made me better. And that was my film school. But I did something that's very unique. And I want to put this in there because when people watch podcasts, they want to get something of value. And I want to tell people what was the real way I succeeded. So when I did the short, I was still buying stuff off my credit card, you know. And when you do short films, you don't get your money back. So let me tell you guys how I did it. The camera I bought for $7,500, I rented out in Hollywood, and I was making $350 a day.
Really smart.
So I made $60,000 renting that camera out.
Wow.
Every month I was getting a check for $3,500, $4,000.
Amazing.
So that paid off the camera. And then I bought my editing system. I bought my lights. I own a full studio now, right?
Yeah, of course.
I speak at different universities. And this is how I always start my speech. And I always tell people, write this down because this is the formula to change your life. People don't fail because they lack resources. People fail because they lack resourcefulness. And I was resourceful.
Can you elaborate on that one a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, a perfect example. I moved to Vegas. I'm like, I love dancing. I would go to the clubs, and Club Rio was the hottest club in that time.
Yeah.
And there's a line outside, 2 mile long, and cover charge was like $60. And I had $150 in my pocket, which had to last me three weeks. Credit cards were maxed out. So I'm walking around. I'm like, how am I going to get in? I couldn't figure out. Then I see these guys standing at the door getting people in. So I'm in the bathroom, you know, washing my hand, and there's a guy next to me. And he was one of the main guys at the door. And I said to him, hey, dude, that was pretty amazing how you handle these drunk guys. And the guy goes, oh, yeah, man, these guys drink here in Vegas and they think they can do anything. You know how it is. And I go, actually, I don't. I just moved here from Chicago. And the guy goes, oh, my God, I'm from Chicago. We started talking.
Yeah.
And then he goes, have you checked out the club? I'm like, man, I can't afford it. I can't stand in line. And I also can't afford it. He goes, oh, I got you, bro. He got me in. By the time I left Club Rio that day at 4 o'clock, I knew the managers, the bouncers, the bartenders. I was friends with everybody. And next time I came in, the ropes opened up. I walked in like I was VIP when I didn't have any money in my pocket. And I would walk in with like 5 guys, 10 guys with me for free. Like I was living the baller lifestyle, but I wasn't a baller.
Yeah.
Right? So that's being resourceful. Me renting out my camera, financing rest of my short films.
That is definitely resourceful.
He's that guy that jumps off the cliff
Yeah.
without a parachute and then figures it out on the way.
Yeah, exactly.
that's him.
I love that because you took chances.
When you have nothing, if you don't take chances, there's one thing's for sure, you're going to be a failure. But if you take chances, but you got to put in the work behind it.
But I want to ask you a question. What about those people who come from like middle class, upper class families, but their parents aren't willing to help them and they don't want to leave the comfort of their environment?
Then you can't have your dream.
Okay.
Rent is due every day, like
Yeah.
The Rock says. Okay.
Yeah.
How many people do you think they're willing to go and sit at Barnes and Noble when everybody else is partying and take these books and read it for free and learn and teach themselves? I taught myself how to do screenwriting. I'm the few
Wow.
producer director that knows how to edit, color correct. I know sound design. I know how
And
to.
you never went to school for any of this?
No.
Wow.
I went to University of Hard Knocks, YouTube University, right? Masterclass. Even now, when Michelle and I, anytime we work out every day, the whole time we're on the treadmill for an hour, we're listening to masterclasses. We're watching
nice.
James Cameron, we're watching Mira Nair, we're watching,
Okay.
like literally you're
This is
constantly.
what I need to be doing.
Yeah. Every person, if you want something bad enough, you got to put in the work. There's no shortcut to
Absolutely.
going wherever you're going.
No.
Right? And and funny thing is, as Michelle and I were making these short films, music videos, commercials, a lot of them were free. We're helping friends. But I looked at it as, it's not free. This is my film school.
And you're learning from it.
And by the way, my first short film, the budget was $5,000. I made it for $4,500.
Wow, good job.
The second one, the budget was $2,500. Third one, the budget was $2,000. Next, the budget was $1,500. I kept lowering the budget, but the quality kept going up.
Yeah.
The thing that I mastered is taking $1 and making it look like $1,000 cinematically.
Nice.
And the reason that's important is I could make a movie for $50,000, make it look like $1 million.
That's amazing.
which ended up becoming huge in Trees of Peace because, our budget was $600,000 and it looks like a $5 million movie. I mean, people have said
Oh my
that to
God.
me.
I watched it. Not gonna lie, I cried. It was such it pulls on your heartstrings. It makes you feel for all the 4 women sitting down there and the people that you guys have to go and everyone's on Netflix. Go watch Trees of Peace. I was very hesitant because I was scared. I didn't want to feel like, sad or upset. But when I watched it, you just appreciate your life and what you guys made out of that movie. I can't believe that it's not like, it looks like a blockbuster movie for sure.
Well, you had a personal connection to it, right? With your dad and what he went through in his life.
Yes, absolutely,
It's not
because-
just something that's happening in Rwanda.
Yes.
This racism, the genocide.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? That's something like my dad was born in 1942 and the partition happened in 1947. And he remembers, and the Indians remember too, on both sides, everyone was getting killed.
That's right.
So when I watch something like that, I can't believe people went through that.
Right.
And then she said, there's healing at the end.
Right.
I was floored by that word because we can't even heal ourselves from like a breakup. Right. We're like, oh my God, I can't move on. I can't do this. And when I watched that, it just really put everything in perspective. Like, you know what? If this woman who went through so much said to everybody, now starts the healing
Right.
and begins the healing, that was so profound.
Yeah.
And I love how you guys did that at the end.
Thanks so much
Yeah.
for taking the time to watch it.
Of course, absolutely.
That means the
Yeah,
world
it
to
means a
us
lot.
because
I love
when
that.
we made that movie, we paid everybody, actors, crew. Michelle and I didn't pay ourselves. We didn't get paid for three years till the movie sold, and we got paid on the back end. And that was important for me because that was me telling the investors, hey, I'm on the same side as you. I'm not taking your money and paying myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had a point to prove. And I'll circle back to that, about Trees of Peace journey. But that journey I started with that short film.
Mm-hmm.
And people were making fun of us. We have friends in Vegas that would say, oh, you guys are trying to go to Hollywood and you're making these short films and music videos. You think you're really going to get to... And people constantly made fun of us, right? I didn't care. And that's the other lesson and message I want to send out. If you want to do something, stop worrying about what people are saying.
Absolutely.
And
It's a good one.
and be about the journey, not the result. I was never about what I'm going to get in the end.
Yes.
I was always about, I wanted to be the best. I wanted to make movies. I wanted to
Yes.
make people feel like what I feel when I watch a Steven Spielberg movie. Okay. When I watch, Brett Ratner's Family Man, I want to feel those things. That was my
Yes.
biggest thing. So to get there, you have to, if you don't have money, what do you have? You have time, and time will pass anyway.
Exactly.
Right? Why not learn?
Yes.
Like you're doing the podcast. Why not learn to edit? Okay.
Of course.
Michelle, by the way, taught herself how to edit on YouTube. And within a week, she edited my music videos that are just phenomenal.
Were you dancing?
No, I wasn't dancing. I was editing and I was directing and producing. But Michelle edited these music videos and she was teaching me stuff,
That's amazing.
And so we
She's
both,
a superstar.
she is. And that's why I needed her to be here because, when you see my name on a short film or whatever, while I'm directing, I can't be producing. I am producing, but I'm not. It's her. She's holding it down. She's, she has the heart of gold. She makes everybody feel on the set like they're somebody. She walks around, hugs people. It's that quality you can't. No, it's. I can't tell you how many producers
that's
don't do that.
amazing. No, of course. When you think of Hollywood, you don't think of that.
People. She would walk up to a PA who's working for free, and she would talk to them and make them feel like
That's
people
nice.
remembered her 3-4 years later after we did some project.
Well, you did
I'm
the
sure
same
she-
thing. Oh, you should have heard all the PAs like on their walkie-talkies. They're like, lead producer Ron Ray's taking the garbage out. Who didn't do their job? They were freaking out. And
No, I'm not gonna lie. They're the most hospitable people I've met, and
sweet.
honestly, you guys have hearts of gold. And the fact that you don't have an ego. So how do you not have an ego?
Because I don't buy into the whole Hollywood or Bollywood. Like I'm no different than a person who's sweeping the floor. When I had nothing, I'm the same person that used to sleep in the car who was homeless, right? My mom was crying and saying, come back to, my parents, by the way, went through a really rough patch. My mom lost her fingers in her hand when I was like 17.
Oh my God.
My dad had a quadruple bypass. He was so I put myself through college working 60 hours a week.
And you went to such a great school, Purdue.
Yeah. And that's why I had $250,000 in debt, that I had to pay off eventually.
Of course.
So I didn't even know there was no light at the end of the tunnel.
You couldn't see it.
I couldn't
at
see
that
it.
time.
At that time, I didn't know. I mean, I remember one day I was crying in my Honda Civic outside. That is the only thing I had
love
was this really nice Honda Civic.
Not gonna lie, that's such a South Asian thing, but
Well, that's the car I could afford out of college, right? They would give it to me because I'm a new graduate, but otherwise I had no money. So I'm sitting there one day. I still remember like it was like a Kodak moment in my head. Like I was crying. And because I woke up and I was like, it's 2:30 in the morning. I'm like, this is what my life has come down to.
Yeah.
All my clothes are in my car. I'm sleeping here. And then I said, Ron, stop. Take a mental picture of this place right now, this moment. Because one day you're not going to be here.
wow.
And I literally did that. I sat there and I looked at every little detail of the car, where my clothes were. All I had was my clothes and my CDs.
Wow.
Okay. That's it.
I love the CDs.
I have like a huge collection of CDs. Right?
Awesome.
Me too.
And you know what? One of the actresses who did really well with Trees of Peace and her career blew up, I actually told her bank account was overdrawn. And we had actually lent her money so she could fly to New York. And she had a huge TV show she landed. And I said, take a picture of that negative bank account, put it on your wall. Because that will always remind you where you come from.
Yes.
And that keeps us grounded. Because none of this stuff means anything.
No,
if today I
you're
give
right.
2 hit movies, I'm the hottest thing. Tomorrow 2 hit movies and no studios want to touch me, right? That's the way the world works.
Of course, they move on. It's like, what's the next hot thing, right? These days, everything is just so fast, trending this, trending that.
Don't let your wins be so high and don't let your lows be so low, right? Like it's
I
just
love
like, what
that.
did you learn from this? And then let's move to the next thing.
Yeah, I like that.
And I always say that too. It's never as good as it seems. It's never as bad as it seems. Okay.
And I love that you guys didn't stop. You just
No.
kept going after Trees of Peace, even though you could stop because it's doing so well on Netflix right now, even now.
Yeah. We've had over, I think, like 60, 70 million views. It's kind of crazy.
For an
I mean,
independent
everywhere we
film.
go, people come up to us and
So that's the thing. The way you guys filmed it, produced it, directed it, it does not look like an independent film.
no.
It looks like
and by the
a
way, I didn't direct it.
big
Michelle,
studio
we didn't
film.
direct
We
it. Alana Brown directed it and wrote the script.
Yes, I know.
She is,
You're the producer.
I'm the producer and Michelle's the producer. We brought the financing, full financing. We literally did the physical production. I did all the negotiations. And then Michelle did the full delivery to Netflix. I actually did the whole selling or licensing of the movie was a huge thing. I mean,
No, I mean, you guys,
Yeah.
I went to their house and I saw the binder that Michelle put together. It was
14 pounds.
it was like this big.
Oh, delivery.
The delivery to Netflix.
Yeah, you don't just hand over a DVD to
I
Netflix.
didn't know
So you
that.
She was dealing with every
something I
department.
learned.
Yeah.
And I was so actually driven by the fact that you did that I need to up my game a little
Well,
bit.
I'll tell you something.
This woman did so much and the binder was this big.
Yeah.
Okay. So heavy. And I'm sitting here like, I'm just doing this podcast. I'm like, oh my God, if she can learn everything, everybody has the capability of doing it. But the fact is she did it.
important. The one
That's
thing,
the most important part.
Important thing is that most independent filmmakers have no idea what delivery is, how to deliver
Really?
a movie. No, they don't.
Most people don't think about distribution or how
They just wanna make a
what's
movie.
the outcome. They're just about the movie, so about the production.
Yeah.
But if you think about what's the distribution or what is this going to lead to, right? It's because that's your resume.
Yeah.
Then you kind of reverse engineer it.
Think of it this way: you can make the greatest product.
Yeah.
If you
No one
don't
will
sell
see
it,
it.
nobody's going to see it,
That's very true.
right? And most, producers don't even know that. They don't even have a budget item line. They don't know how much cost is involved in delivering. And she dealt with I think 12, 13 departments at Netflix by
Business
herself.
affairs, legals. I had to go through contracts, marketing, licensing, logistics,
I can
dubbing.
only imagine.
Or sorry, not logistics, localization.
Oh, wow.
Different
Yeah,
languages.
different languages, and there's a
Yeah,
lot that
because
goes-
it's 32. 32
And I
different
had never done
languages.
it before. I
That's
didn't-
crazy.
Yeah.
That's really amazing. And I wanted to ask, what made you both so passionate about this project? Because I am in awe that you guys brought it to life. And I'm really happy you guys did because it's something that everybody needs to watch.
That is 100% credit to Ron. I will give it to him. That the story, he read the story and was like, he was so moved because Alana wrote an amazing script. Like the characters were well fleshed out. She spent 22 rewrites.
Can we step back 1 second?
yeah.
Because I want to say I had no intention of producing this movie.
Oh, that's true. We should
So,
go back to
so let
that.
me tell you the
That's why-
backstory on this. What happened was I made a short called Death Note, which went viral.
Okay.
And once again, I do random acts of kindness always, and I'm going to show you how something led to something. Michelle was competing in 2012 in fitness, and I met this guy who's just this funny guy, you know. And he came and he goes to Michelle, "Hey, are you Indian?" And Michelle goes, "No, but my husband is." And he looks at me and he goes, "Oh, I thought you're Mexican." And he walks off. And this guy's about to get on stage. He's like 6-pack, short little Filipino guy, and I'm like, "Huh, kind of funny guy." And I'm sitting there taking pictures of Michelle with my long lens. I've been a photographer since I'm 15. And right after Michelle gets off the stage, that guy gets on the stage and he's posing, right? And I'm like, "Oh, that's that funny guy." And I start taking his pictures. Later, he's walking by. I go, "Hey, dude, come here. What's your name?" He goes, "Brian." I go, "I took these pictures of you. Do you want it?" And he's like, "Oh my God, these are great. I'll pay you. How much do you want?" And I'm like, No. These are yours. And we exchanged Facebook. 2012 March. We're on Facebook. I gave him the pictures for free. Never spoke to him again. 2017, Michelle and I did this short called Death Note for $4,000, 11-minute short, went viral. I was getting meetings with studios and streamers, like studio heads, and because of that short. He calls me up. He goes, "Hey, bro, I didn't know you did this." I'm like, "Yeah." We talked for a couple of hours. He goes, "If you're ready to do a movie, man, I'll produce it. I'll put up money. I got money."
Oh.
He offered me like $2-3 million, and I'm like, this guy. And I was like, I didn't even know he had that kind of money. And I said,
amazing.
and most people would jump on it. I said, "Look, I don't have a great script, and I'm not making a movie without a great script. So I'll let you know when I have it." 2018, this guy calls me again. He goes, "Bro, you're the only guy I know. I'm offering you $2-3 million. You don't want it."
So cool.
And I go, "I'm not making some crap movie. My
Yeah.
movie has to be meaningful,
Yes.
right? Or you're going to lose your money, and my name's ruined, and my name is everything."
Yes.
You know what's funny? He ended up financing Trees of Peace.
Oh, he did.
Yes. Him and his partner co-financed the Trees of Peace with me. And
The world is all connected in some way.
But what happened was I had no intention of producing somebody else's movie. What happened was I had an amazing conversation with somebody, at one of the streamers, and they looked through all my work and they said, "We want to be in business with you. Let me know when you have a movie." So I'm like trying to write this script, and we had moved to Vancouver for 3 months with Michelle's job. And I'm thinking I'm going to write this script, and I couldn't come up with anything. Everything I would write, and by the way, I'm also one of the few producer directors, At that point, I had read 4,000 scripts
Wow.
to educate myself. Now
to
I'm
write-
at 5,643. But at that, and I couldn't find anything. And one day, this girl starts following me on Instagram, and I kind of look at her. I'm like, "Oh, okay," and I didn't pay attention. After a week, I was so frustrated. I put my stuff away, and I'm just sitting there by myself. And I start reading through her posts. And the moment I read her writing, something inside me clicked and said, "She's a good writer. She's different from everything I've read." So then I reached out to her and I said, "Hey, I'm a producer of a production company. Can we get on a phone call?" I was thinking about hiring her as a writer.
Yeah.
So she goes, "Okay." So when she got on the phone with me, I met her on Instagram, right? First thing I did, I had Michelle stay up and talk to her.
That's hilarious.
Because I didn't want her to think, "Hey, I'm a producer sliding into your DM."
Yeah.
So I had Michelle stay and talk to this girl to make sure she knows I'm legit. I'm not some perverted guy, trying to. And then Michelle spoke to her for like 20 minutes, I think, right?
Yeah.
And then we were speaking, and I was like, "Yeah, maybe you could write something for me. What have you done?" She goes, "I've only done a short film." She had not much experience. She didn't know how to edit. She had just done a short film. And she's like, after 20, 30 minutes of talking, she goes, "Hey, I've been trying to make this movie called Trees of Peace for 7 years.
Oh, wow.
It's about the genocide in Rwanda and 4 women." And at that time, to be honest, I didn't know. I knew a little bit, but I knew 5% of what I know today.
Yes.
And she goes, "I've been trying to get this movie for get it made for 7 years. I want to direct it." 10 different producers were attached, and nobody would make the movie.
Oh, wow.
"Would you be interested in producing it?" And I said, "Look, I'll be honest with you. I'm turning 50. This is in February of 2019. I said, I'm turning 50 in October. I know more than most directors that direct. I'm ready to direct. I'm not going to produce somebody else's movie. I don't want to lead you on. So I will read your script with the understanding, I'm not going to produce this movie." And she actually thanked me. She said, "Thank you for not wasting my time. So many people tie me up in a contract
Yeah.
and they don't do anything." That night I read the script.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding you. Michelle was sleeping. It was 11:30 at night. I'm looking at Vancouver downtown, the mountains. And I remember going, "Oh my God, I have an Oscar-winning script here.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And I knew how to make that movie for 50,000, 500,000, or 5 million. And also the character was so well etched out. And I also knew nobody was going to make this movie. Do you know why?
Why?
The 4 main characters are 4 women, 3 black women and a white woman. She's a first-time female black director. Nobody's going to bet on this movie. It's not a commercial subject. But I also knew that movie could put me on the map because I saw something that other people didn't.
Yeah.
Right? So next day, I woke her up and I said, oh, one other thing. If a studio executive fell in love with that movie, they would have done this. They said, oh, this movie could win an Oscar. They would put Lupita, Viola Davis,
Yes.
Margot Robbie as a
Of
white girl.
course.
And once
Absolutely.
they have, and then maybe Kerry Washington, and once they have that, they would go, wait, we have a director who's directed 1 short film. Here's a check for 300,000. We're going to bring in Ava DuVernay.
Yeah,
That's what they
exactly.
would have done, a studio. So she would never get to make the movie. Whereas
Yeah.
as an independent, I could make that movie. So I talked to her next day and I told her, and then go ahead, tell me what you thought.
No, the script was fantastic, but like Ron said, we had just spent a decade doing short films, commercials, videos, producing. I was like, this is your time. He's going to be 50 years old. If we produce this film, this is going to take us off our trajectory, right? For a movie's not made in like a year. So I was like, this is going to put us back like 3 years. Something that I want to point this out because he always leads with his kindness with complete strangers. And I love that about him. He has his mom's heart. I think I told you that.
He's very kind.
He has
yes.
his dad's mathematical brain, but his mom's heart. The money that we had set aside, those millions, 3 million that was for his directorial debut.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So I thought our plan was he's going to direct. We have the financing. We just need a script.
Yeah.
So I did read the script, and I will admit I was a little hesitant. I was like, I think it's a fantastic script, but I don't know that I think it's the right choice for us to produce.
Okay.
I thought you were going to direct. This is your time to direct. Do you want to?
Yeah, and then I basically
because it was hard. So
Well,
Of course. You know, at
when
this
we had to
age,
raise
you want to do
money,
your own.
I mean, I'm talking very wealthy African American people told me this movie would never work. They said, I'm black and I wouldn't even sit there and watch a movie about 4 women sitting there talking in a room. And I said, that's what the movie's about.
No, it's
I go,
not.
it's
so much more than
it's
that.
just so much more than that. And then people kept telling me, this movie's not going to work because it's only got women in it. I go, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That's like saying this movie has all men in it and it's going to be great. You know, it's like, and the more people said to me it won't work because it has women in it, then I got really pissed. And then I said, I'm going to make this movie.
Yeah.
And then when I went to raise financing, not only would nobody give us money, people were asking me for money for their movie, right? Producers came on
Typical
board
Hollywood.
lying to me saying they're going to bring me money and they couldn't
Yeah.
even raise $5,000. The producers were attached to my project.
Yes.
And then what I didn't say anything to anybody. I just told Michelle, I'm going to go to San Francisco and meet Brian. And I met Brian and I said, hey, I got this movie. I want I want you to finance.
that was
me."
our lead investor.
Lead investor.
The one he did the
Filipino
competition.
yeah,
Yeah.
competition. And within 10 minutes, he said yes. Him and he put me in touch with his partner, and him and his partner had a 8-hour meeting where his partner was just vetting me to see if I'm real, right?
Yeah.
And his partner's a great guy. His name is Jeff Spiegel. He's a CPA, just amazing guy. But he called him cynical, and he would which was great. And we got along great. We spoke the same language because I'm in financial services. He's a CPA, right?
Nice.
And they within 10 minutes they said yes to me, but their only condition was, Ron, you direct the movie, not her.
Oh.
And then for the next 2 hours, I fought with them why she needed to direct the movie, not me, because
It was important.
it was important to me to back her dream and champion her because all my life people have taken away my dream from me. So I was like, she needs to do this. And also, I also knew when I'm going to sell the movie, see, this is where the business side of me comes in.
Of course.
African woman telling the story of 4 women is far more real than
And
an
effective.
Indian guy telling the story, right? So from a business perspective, it made sense. And also I wanted to champion her dream, because she's fought for 7 years. I didn't want to take that away. So I initially, I convinced them actually. And then 2 months later, that day I called the director up and the other producers. I said, I got the full financing, and people were flipping out. And she didn't even believe me because the whole time she was
Yeah.
fighting for 10 years.
Yeah.
So many times it almost happened, but didn't happen, right? So the day we were writing the check, they're writing the check, we're meeting in LA, me and another producer and Brian and Jeff. somebody who knew my director really well and her husband called my investors up and said, do not give her the money. She doesn't know what she's doing. She's only made one short and all this stuff. And my investors froze up and they said, okay, we'll give you the money. We need you to direct. And by the way, they were offering me $3 million. I took 600 because I said, if I make the movie for $3 million, we'll not get the money back. Yeah. So I wanted to make sure. And then I said, I'm not going to pay myself. So my investors were kind of shocked because most producers in Hollywood, they pay themselves first.
Yes,
right?
Of course.
So I, once again, I literally got up and I said, you see this camera is shooting you? That's not Alana running the camera. That's a professional cameraman that I'm going to hire. Yeah. See the person doing the audio? Not Alana. So she's going to direct. I'm going to be right behind her. Don't worry. Whatever she doesn't know, Michelle and I know, and we'll cover, right? Because I'm not just a producer. I'm a director, right? And I have a lot more experience than Alana. I know how to edit. I know how to direct. I've directed all the stuff. I've directed commercials. Like I said, 26 shorts, 30 commercials, music videos. So finally, I think they got tired of arguing with me. Yeah. I think I wore them down. And they said, fine. And we went to make the movie. I met Alana in February. I got the financing locked in June. Mm-hmm. We rolled camera in October.
I mean, that's pretty fast for an independent
film.
That's
amazing.
It's
that's
very
really,
fast
really
for an independent film.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's amazing that you got all the funding, everything lined up. And how did you guys, the audition process for the 4 women?
We went through pretty extensive audition. Like one thing I was very adamant about on a small movie, you cannot compromise in acting. You live and die on acting, okay? If your acting is bad. And when the camera is right on you, the movie takes place in 4 walls. Yes. The story is about 4 women, how they survived the genocide in Rwanda for 81 days, hiding in an underground 5x5 room. Yep. So if one actor is weak, it's going to expose the whole movie.
That's what I'm saying. They were all 4 so dynamic and they were amazing actresses. It's just so real. I felt their pain.
Yeah. And we actually brought Ilian, the one that played the pregnant.
Yeah.
We brought her from, she lived in France, but she actually survived the genocide as an 8-year-old. Oh. She's from Rwanda.
Wow.
So that was a big fight to get her here, get her a visa and all that in such a short term. That was a big fight because people from Rwanda, they don't usually give visas to them easily. Okay. It was a very hard process, but I made some calls, once again, being resourceful and calling in, pulling strings. And I believe Ilian one day is going to win an Oscar. She is that good of an actress. And
absolutely.
I said that to her.
I believe it. Yeah. I mean, when I saw that, it just blew my mind, like what great actresses they all were.
Yeah. And funny thing is, all of them, it was one of their first big, they might have done some short films, but that was their first movie, big movie.
Yeah. Right? You guys said that. It was their first movie. And that they seemed
like Ilian had done a couple, but not in America, outside. But this was her first lead where she was like leading it was all 4 women are the lead. And then we got Tongai, which Tongai is doing great. He plays the husband. Even though he's not, he comes and goes in the movie.
The cool thing is you guys don't show his face. I'm like trying to see his face. And I'm like, when he's like putting his hand in, I'm like looking up myself because I'm like trying to see him. But you guys do such a great job of like just honing in on just the 4 women.
Right.
That the man takes like a backseat to the whole movie. And it's about the women that are going through the struggle.
And you know how many people had come up to us and said how great Tongai is in that movie? And by the way, he's in he's been on Netflix TV show as a lead. He just did Mayfair Witches where he's the lead.
Oh, nice.
3rd season just got greenlit. Okay. Just a great guy. And that decision, by the way.
So you guys launched a lot of people's careers.
Yeah. Charmaine Bingwa blew up. She did Emancipation with Will Smith. She's done a TV show called The Good Fight. Yes. Which was on Paramount Plus. She blew up after that. And she did King Shaka with Anton Fuqua, which hasn't come out yet. She's another phenomenally talented actress. Ella, the white female that plays the American volunteer worker. She's incredible. She's probably done 13, 14 movies. She's family to us.
Nice.
She's an amazing human being. I mean,
even
I can't.
Writing.
And she's actually a great writer.
Yeah.
Oh,
I told her one day when you grow up and settle down, you need to be a writer because I read one of her scripts and I was blown away.
That's amazing.
So Ella is she's a beautiful human being, and that was one of the gifts we got is the people that we met through this process, and all 4 women were just incredible. Mutesi, the girl Bola who played.
Yes, the one
This
that was
her
so
first
angry
movie.
in the beginning.
Yeah.
Dude, that's her first movie.
Yeah, this was her first
Wow.
movie.
First anything, yeah.
There's a funny story about her in audition. Alana calls me, goes, "This girl is good, but she keeps like doing this with her hands." And so I was like, "Okay, well, you know," we talked about it, and then Alana had her sit on her hand. We called her back. She had left, and she was eating ice cream. So she called her back to the audition. She sat on her hand, and the moment we could just focus here. She was incredible. As you see, she plays a very
Really
powerful
good.
character.
Very powerful. Her,
So that was a big part of it. Then I had gone to Sony through Michelle's connection, and made some really good friends at Sony, and they actually gave us the Sony Venice camera package that Top Gun 2 was shot. Maverick was shot with it. And James Cameron was shooting Avatar with it. They gave me the camera package for 5 weeks for free.
Wow.
Which is a $60,000 camera package.
That's crazy.
And honestly, I own 3 cameras. I didn't necessarily need the camera package. But for me, I figured that way Sony would have a vested interest in us, right? That was that was a marketing plan behind my head.
Yeah.
And also in the process, I became really good friends with the vice president of production at Sony, and you know, and I got Sigma to give us 9 lenses for free for 5 weeks.
Wow.
That was another savings of 20 grand.
Yeah.
So all these things I did, they played into, you know, making a $600,000 movie, and then went in and hired the cinematographer, Michael Rizzi. He did an incredible job. Trees of Peace is probably his best work. I remember showing the movie to some A-list producer directors in Hollywood. And the first thing they said to me is, "Oh my God, who's the cinematographer?" And this was Michael Rizzi's first big movie, right? And they kept asking me, and I'm like, "He's this new guy." And then they were like, "Who are these actresses?" And they would like start messaging them on Instagram saying how great they are. This is before the movie was sold, right? So people loved the movie.
So how did you feel like when it just skyrocketed?
Well, actually, when initially the movie was done, everybody liked the movie.
Yeah.
Michelle and I didn't like the first cut.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, when the editing was done. And then I brought it up to the investors. Of course, my investors and my director didn't agree with me in the beginning. And then I kind of stuck to my guns and I said, this movie's not going to work unless we change X, Y, Z. And then my director and I had a conversation, and then I made her, like I said, just take a month off and just look at it. You're too tired. You work so hard.
Yeah.
And sure enough, she called me within 3 weeks and she's like, "Oh my God, you're right. What are people saying?"
Yeah.
And then we went back to work. We re-edited the whole movie with a new editor, new composer, new sound design, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, I had some people involved that I'd never met, that are big time people. So the guys that did our sound design, there's a guy named Chris Jenkins who has won 5. Nice. He's got 5 nomination Oscar for sound mixing and 3 wins. He's won Oscar for Mad Max, Fury Road.
Oh.
Out of Africa, Last of the Mohicans, and he was nominated for Wanted with Angelina Jolie and Dick Tracy.
Nice. Okay.
5 Oscars. So I call him like the LeBron James of Oscar, right? He's got and his guys came in and did the sound mix for like pennies on the dollar.
Wow,
I got David Buckley to do the music, who did me a huge favor, and David and I bonded over the phone. I've never met in person.
Yeah.
So pulled all these strings, put this together, and we didn't originally like the cut. Then we re-edited the movie, and my director worked her tail off, you know, and with a new editor. And that's the version that went to Santa Barbara Film Festival. And I remember it was April of 2021. That was our debut. And we won the Best Film Panavision Jury Award and the ADL Humanitarian Award.
Amazing.
The first film. And that's important because the Rwanda genocide happened from April 7th, 1994 to July 19 of 1994. Wow. Million people died.
I know. I saw that.
Okay, right?
So sad.
So it was kind of ironic that our movie debuted in April, and on April 10th, we won the Panavision Award, Jury Award for the best film. And then we went on to win, we swept the African Black Film Festival, the best film, Phoenix Film Festival, Switzerland, Japan. I mean, we won all these festivals. But even after that, and I want to share this because I want people to understand, 95% of independent films don't even recover their budget.
No, never.
Okay, they don't get money back. And sure enough, our movie, even though we were repped by UTA, our movie, our initial offers that came back was 50 grand on a $600,000 budget, and I refused to give it up. And I remember having fights with my investor. My investor at one point, after a year of, you know,
like just
getting
waiting.
no's,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
he goes, "Look, I've written off the money in my head. I just want to tell my friends I made the money. I made a movie. I won't hold it against you." And I was like, "Brian, I'm going to hold it against myself."
Yeah.
I'm like, "I'm not giving this movie away." And they're like, "Well, what are you waiting for?" And I said, "There are certain people that are looking at the movie. You know, I want to really consider Netflix." And Netflix had actually turned us down twice at that point. And finally, I was able to show the movie. And her name is Nicole Avant. She is married to CEO of Netflix, and she's an extremely influential, kind, powerful woman
In her own right.
In her own right, you know. And she's been guiding. She was giving me notes, and she's a wonderful human being, by the way.
Okay.
Her father was Clarence Avant, who ran Motown Records.
Oh, wow.
Nicole was a diplomat for the Obamas.
Oh,
she's
okay,
friends with
nice.
the Clintons, right? And finally, Nicole saw the movie, and she's like, "Oh my God, I love this movie." And Nicole put her name on the movie. She introduced me to Ted, and Ted saw the movie, and then we literally sold them. We went from, for a $600,000 movie, getting 50 grand to selling the movie for a 7-figure plus
Amazing.
amount. And not only that,
And how did your investors feel about that then?
Oh, they were forever. They're like, "We're never going to question you."
Good.
Right? Because they were, I mean, I was fighting with my investor. I was fighting with my director. My director's like, "Ron, please let the movie come out. I've been here with this movie for 10 years. And
You're like, "No."
I said, nobody's going to see the movie.
Yeah.
What's the point of getting it to go out if nobody ever sees the movie? You know, there's like this much difference between being considered a success and failure. And at this point, I'm fighting everyone. I'm like if I'm a video game, I'm at 1.
Yeah.
Between 1 and 10, my energy bar, and I'm fighting away.
Yeah.
And finally, I mean, Nicole's kindness, you know, she put the spotlight on me and Michelle and introduced her to Ted. And then Ted saw the movie, and then Netflix came on board. And the best part was when the movie came out, even Netflix didn't expect what was going to happen. Within 5 days, the movie was top 10 in 60 countries.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was a big thing. And then, of course, from there on, you know, Alana she wrote for 10 different studios, I think, scripts. She just directed a $15 million movie for Tyler Perry that was number 1 on Netflix.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
So we are going to move on a little bit. We're going to pivot to Michelle.
Perfect.
So Michelle is the backbone behind everything. And I want to know about, there's so much. You're a DJ. How did you become a DJ?
That's passion.
Passion?
Like I've always loved music. I don't know, I've had an affinity. I feel like, so there's writers who use writing words to kind of express themselves. I felt like I've always expressed myself through music.
Oh,
growing
nice.
up.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to play the piano.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so that's where that came from. And honestly, it was more of like, I wanted something new, like a pastime. Like everything we do is business related, and it was something fun for me to start.
So when you guys were doing Trees of Peace together, how was your relationship, and what was your relationship to the movie?
So I took an executive producer role because at the time I was still working in the visual effects industry. So I was working with global studios. We were in LA, so I'd be meeting with Sony, Marvel, Disney, Digital Domain, Method. So I was working in visual effects, and at the end of my day, I would come to set. But the film takes place over 81 days. We only had 20 shooting days, and the girls had to look the part.
Yes.
And Alana, our director, wanted to shoot chronologically. So we had to get these girls to lose 20 pounds, 15, 20 pounds in 20 days.
That's insane.
And our nutritionist quit midnight the day before we started shooting.
Of course.
Perfect timing. I was actually in bed, and Ron woke me up because, I got up at like 5 a.m. every morning to work. He's like, "Oh my God, Michelle," he goes, "I need your help." Because I have the fitness background and nutrition background. He said, "Our nutritionist just quit. I don't know what we're going to do." So I managed the actresses. I did their diets, and they all had like these like specialized diets.
So you guys,
yeah.
Michelle actually showed me a picture of how she is so organized. I feel so you're like Marie Kondo for like
No
the
way.
studio world.
I'm not.
She was so organized about their diet too that you had everything labeled and set out for them that they didn't have to do anything.
Yeah, they were like, honestly, it's like I felt like they call me Macros Mama because I would send them to set every day with their little cooler, like they're going off to kindergarten school, and I'd label their meals like their 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd put their little inspirational, like some kind of quote in there.
Yeah, that's so nice.
They had to drink a gallon of water every day. I had electrolytes, but I would send them away with their little cooler to set, and then they were supposed to bring it back to me empty every day, and then so we did that. So that was my part.
Besides
during
all
production,
everything that Ron has told us about producing this film and whatnot, and you're just a very how do I put this? A versatile person.
Can I add one thing
Yes.
that she left out?
well,
A lot of the girls, the actresses, they were going through a very emotional state,
Of course.
very draining, and they would have breakdowns. And Michelle was the person they ran to, and Michelle would take them in, console them, and spend time with them, and kind of bring them back to balance where they were balanced. And that was huge. In a small movie, you cannot afford to have a actor quit or break down. And also the diet part was really important because most big movies have physical personal trainers,
course,
nutritionists. We didn't have that, right?
Yeah.
So Michelle and actually a couple of our investors, the 2 investors, were actually prepping food till 4 a.m. And they would divide it out. And then Michelle would send it out every day. This is huge because we shot 5 days. We would take 2 days off, shoot 5 days. So it was like a, 5-week period. But they had to lose, some of these girls,
10 to
like
15
Ella.
pounds.
Ella was so skinny to start with. I don't know how Ella lost 12 pounds. Because when she came in, I looked at her and I was like, oh my God. And Michelle and I took her, before we started shooting, we took them out to eat. And we fed them ice cream and pizza
That's hilarious.
for 5 days.
You're like, who cares about your arteries? Just eat.
Because we wanted them
we want to
to,
like fatten up.
No,
and,
I know,
Look,
yeah.
that way when you
water
pull
fluid,
the,
and
when you
then-
pull,
You want them to look a little bloated and
And
yeah,
then
like
the
a little
changes-
chubby. Yeah.
right. And Michelle did those things. Michelle would show up on the set. I remember one day one actress got sick. Michelle was in the hospital with them till like midnight.
Wow. No, Michelle is a very, very empathetic person. I know that like from the moment I spoke with her on the phone, she's amazing. And I can totally see you doing that. I've only hung out with them for 24 hours and they're just the most empathetic people I've ever met and caring.
you.
I know there's something people will want to know about you, Michelle, the IFBB bodybuilding competition. And you won. That is, like, amazing.
Thanks. That was just another goal.
What made
When
you want to do that? Because
So-
most people, like he said, you're half Asian and then you have French, and that is not something like in our, we're all Asians kind of in this circle right now, that we're even allowed to even think about.
Again, it goes back to just when I was growing up, like my thing was I was a tomboy growing up, but I loved movies. I loved music. I spent a lot of time by myself.
Yeah.
And then it was movies, music, and magazines. And at the time, like the magazines, you'd see all these fitness buff girls, but nobody looked like me. It was all,
Yeah.
I'm so dating myself, but the 90s, the big hair, the blondes,
Yes.
I don't know. And I just thought it was amazing, these physiques, right? And then when I would move to Vegas, this is like
Oh yeah.
the Oscars of fitness, right?
Of
We have the
course.
Olympia here. And I went to my first Olympia with Ron, and I'm looking at these girls and I was like, I think I could do that. I was like, looking around, and he's like, of course you could. And so we got married, by the way, January 1st of 2012 in India.
Okay.
February 1st, a month after, I said, honey, I want to compete in a bodybuilding competition. I want to do this. So honestly, I just decided I wanted
that's
to
so
do
cool.
it. And then I started competing and
And I
6%.
want to add something, and I was against it because I've been a
Yeah.
trainer for 40 years, and I know that creates body dysmorphia. And she was already, decent, and I'm like, we both worked out, but
No, she was super skinny even.
Well,
I
yeah.
was not.
Yeah, you were. I've seen
I was just
pictures.
average. I was
I saw
average.
before and after. It was the same.
I mean, to go down, she went down to 6% body fat. She didn't have
That's
period
insane.
for 2 years. So it's a very, you put your body through extreme conditioning. It takes extreme discipline. And we just got married January 1st. She started 2012, February 1st. By second week of February, she's sleeping in a different bedroom. So
Well,
for 5 months, she did 5 shows. She won most of the shows. And then she went to the USAs.
Yeah.
And 1,100 girls are competing and they're all champions.
Yeah.
And in order to turn pro, you have to win first or second place.
That's amazing.
And Michelle got first.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. But everything.
What advice would you give someone out there?
About what?
During that process is really grueling too. It takes a mental toll on someone. Like you want to give up.
It does. One, I think it just takes, anyone can do it. Anything is possible. One of my
But you
mottos
guys
is
make
time
it
will pass.
sound so easy, like,
okay,
oh,
well,
anything's
hold
possible.
on. I didn't say it's easy.
Okay.
It's not easy. It's simple.
Okay.
You decide, you commit, and I think one of the big things we were talking about earlier is about why did we do something, or it's the challenges that make us who we are. And fitness is a big part of our lifestyle. I always go back to, I feel like fitness is our foundation. It's the same thing as he's talking about, you have to put the work in. Well, you have to go to the gym. You have to put the reps in, right? You have to show up,
Yes.
right?
I can't even get to the gym. I'm not gonna lie.
You can.
I
you
tie my
choose
shoe-
not to.
No,
Hold
no,
on.
So
you
they
choose-
say the first step is to tie your shoelaces. I tied the shoelaces, and I'm like,
Okay, so you got to
Little
step
bites.
one. So you got to step one.
yeah, that's
We
it.
haven't graduated to step 2 now.
No.
That's
It
okay.
has to be a priority. It's something you really have to want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm trying to force myself to do it.
But can I tell you something? It's not about lifting weights though. 70% of a body transformation was when a woman drops down to 6% body fat, and you guys will see a picture of her, what she looked like.
Yeah.
To get to that point, 70%, 75% of it is diet. You have to eat every 3 hours a certain way, right? And by the way, you're not eating ice
don't like to
cream,
eat.
pizza. You're eating like bland broccoli.
Yeah, no,
bland
I
chicken.
know.
Okay, it's
I
not
can't do
bland.
that. That's why I said I go to like little bites. It's
But
like,
you can't do it
little,
because
like,
it's not
muffins.
important to you. If it was important to you, you would.
Yeah, that's
Right, you
true.
have a-
You're
you-
right. It's not my goal, but it was your goal. So
So you have a son, right?
Yes,
Okay, so when he was little and he couldn't make his own, you had to make his meals.
I did, and I made them organic. I'm not
So
gonna
it's almost
lie.
like, yeah, right? You
Yes.
take take such great care of your children or other people, but you forget about yourself.
That's true.
I just think it's look, nothing worth anything in life is easy, but it can be simple.
You have to put in the effort.
And so you just have to make it a priority, decide,
yes,
and then you have this outcome. And again, I go back to this reverse engineer. Here's my outcome, but I'm not going to focus on the outcome. Usually people stand in the mirror and like, I want to lose this. I want to lose this belly. Okay, you're focused on the outcome, but what are the steps you have to do to get there?
yeah, that's
And so
something
the-
you and I will talk about later.
Yeah, so
like
then-
off camera.
So then you just say, okay, well, you write out, these are the steps I have to do and I have to follow to get there.
Yes.
So now it's my I have to put in the effort. I have to
Yes.
make those choices. So it's either yes to the ice cream. Okay, well then that's going to put me this far away from my goal, or yes to that salmon and Foodie Fit meal, and it's going to put me this way to my goal.
Okay, yeah.
I guess I just looked at things like that, and I focused on the. I did notice
You focus on your goal.
Well, no,
Oh,
the goal is my vision.
yeah.
But I focused on the steps of I would have every day, what do I have to do today? Because then it becomes very overwhelming. If I was like, I have to
Look like this.
look like this, or I have to lift. Like if you tell someone to go to the gym who has never gone to the gym and you put 3 45-pound plates on the bar, they're going to be
Yeah.
like, I can't do that. The first thing out of their mouth, I can't do that. So you don't focus on that, but that's what we're getting to. You go to the gym and you just have a bar.
Yeah.
and you do that.
And you
and
do
then
that.
lift that. Yes.
Yeah.
And
And
you
then
do that
slowly.
100, and you do
And
that
then you do
100
that
times.
100 times.
And then you
Okay.
add 5 pounds. And
Yeah.
you do 100 times, 10
Okay.
pounds. Say, if
Little
you break
steps.
down, if I tell somebody do 100 sit-ups right now, they can't. But did I tell you that you can do 5 at a time?
Yeah.
What if you did 5, 5,
Just
5
reps,
throughout
yeah.
the day?
Yeah.
Yes. I
Break
agree.
down your big goal into small steps. And that's the secret to everything. One of the projects we are actually looking at doing, I met this incredibly inspirational gentleman, Richmond, at the gym, and he wrote a book about his own life.
You met him at the gym.
Yes. we met him at
Okay,
the
so
gym.
you guys go to the gym. You're going to meet a lot of cool people.
That's right. And he wrote a book, and he approached me, and he was like, "Hey, would you guys, consider in producing this?" And I think Richmond's story is pretty inspirational, and I think it'd be nice. We have him here, so if you want to get him,
No, absolutely. You guys, Ron and Michelle brought their friend, Richmond Bogani Mahlangu. I can't say it properly, but this is the book. It's Zulu Dreams from Apartheid to the Ivy League. He actually came to the United States on a tennis scholarship from a small town in South Africa. And it was really unheard of for someone to be a tennis player back then, or where he was from, because everybody played soccer, football. And he came on a tennis scholarship to America, and he sent both of his sons to Ivy Leagues, one to Harvard and one to Georgetown. And this is like, as we like to call it, the American dream. And I want to throw it back to now Richmond. Richmond, thank you so much for coming with Ron and Michelle. And I'm so excited you went to the gym because now we're all connected here.
It's a privilege and an honor to be here. I want to thank these two here, because when Ron told me they were having an interview, I was kind of embarrassed. I thought, no, I don't want to interfere. And he said, no, come, I'll ask if we can have an interview so you can share your story. So I was very excited. So I feel very privileged.
No, I feel honored that you're here with us
These
today.
opportunities don't come all the time. It's like, a one-time thing, and if it happens, one's gonna jump on the opportunity. But
So your story, you wrote a book about Zulu dreams. What does Zulu mean to you?
well, Zulu is my tribe.
Oh,
So
okay.
I don't know if you've heard of Shaka Zulu.
Of course.
Yeah, that's the tribe that I grew up among, the people of the Zulu tribe in South Africa.
Okay. So how do they feel about you being here now and what you're doing?
Well, I've been gone for a long time. I left home in 1985. I went to Europe first, Austria, and then eventually I got a scholarship to come to America. So, am I sitting funny?
No, just move the mic over a little bit. That's all.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You see, you bring a Zulu man in front of all these sophisticated things. He doesn't know where to stand or look.
No, that's not
anyway.
true. You sent two kids to Ivy Leagues and you're a tennis scholarship champion. So
Yeah.
you're a pretty big deal.
Well, that's kind of you. But so you asked the first question about people at home. I don't even think a lot of people know who I am, to be honest with
Are
you.
you serious? So you're not you're not your tribe's like most famous hero.
No, not really. I've been gone from home for a long time. I mean, I left home in 1985. A lot of young people don't even know what apartheid is. So, I mean, the community near my house and some people who are involved in tennis, of course, I still correspond with them.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Before we started the podcast today, you said something that really hit home. I think we all here can relate to. You said you wrote this book because everybody wants a sense of belonging, wants to belong somewhere. And what does that mean to you?
Basically, I think that conversation was over about leaving home, going somewhere, and then somehow
Like being in America.
Yeah, during this journey where you're obviously excited to go to these places, and you get there and somehow you find out that you don't fit.
Yes.
Because it's interesting enough, coming to America as a black person, you have this idea that you're going to meet a lot of people and a lot of black people, and then you get here and like, it's not like that, because I'm not like a lot of black American people. They don't see me as black, a lot of them. I mean, sometime of this conversation has actually happened because we speak differently. We have a different way of looking at things.
Yes.
And then I go back home after being gone for so long, and they tell me if I try to speak isiZulu, which is my first language,
And
that
you don't belong there anymore.
I sound like a white man who's foreign trying to speak Zulu. So it's like a man with no country.
Oh, no, I think myself and Ron can relate to that because we don't fit in here, and then when we go back to our country, we don't sound like them. So I can totally relate
It's
to
actually
something
a
like
wonderful
that.
place to be because we actually
I don't know
have-
about that.
Well, no, it's all about how
Well,
you look
Richmond
at it. It's
doesn't
all
feel
about-
that way,
it's-
Ron.
You know what? It's all about how you frame things. Okay.
Yeah.
I look at it this way. I know India back on my hand. I know America back on my hand, and I can bring it all together and show the new world. And part of the thing that attracted me to your story was we have very similar journey, like different places. You didn't even know what America was, and you said, I'm going to go to America. And you were extremely resourceful. He went to Austria. He taught tennis there. Then he met somebody. Then he got a scholarship to UNLV. He came to UNLV. And then,
That's amazing.
you know, this white couple, actually this woman, she actually adopted him. And he was a grown man. And she's a big part of the story. And my point is he went through a lot of adversity,
Yes.
right? None of it stopped him. And then he said, I'm going to UNLV, but I'm going to send my kids to Ivy League school. And everybody laughed at him once again, right? People are laughing at your dreams. And he kept working at it. And he taught his kids how to play tennis. And most, black kids don't get a chance to go to these schools and he found a way.
And they
for
don't
them
play
to go-
tennis usually.
Yeah. And they don't. And they went to Harvard and Georgetown
Yes.
on scholarship, and they're grown and they're married. One's married. They're successful. So the journey is more about, what's possible. Yeah, there's the book. The
Yeah,
journey is about
it's
what's
amazing.
possible. And you don't have to be a famous person to impact the world. He impacted the world. He changed the next generation with his thinking. And that's Michelle and I, that's what attracted us to the story because we get approached all the time. You won't believe how many people come at us with different books, different projects, and we say no to 99% of things.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So
He's so excited. He's like, he wants to do my story.
But
No,
sorry.
so-
go ahead.
no. You go.
No, I was just going to add what really drew us, I think, or drew me to this story. It's something that we all have in common, and it was this blind faith in something. He had never seen America, had never been in America, knew nothing about America. But as a little boy, he's like, I'm going to America
Yeah.
and I'm going to succeed. And he did. And it's sort of like the same thing with Ron when we have different stories about the same thing. But he was in his car and he's looking at his Honda Civic that he's sleeping in and going, I won't be here forever. So he had this blind faith. And I had the same instance. I mean, I grew up in a white Southern Florida. I
told me
was
that.
adopted by my American grandparents. And being the only, half Asian person in my family, I faced my own racism. So I never felt like I had my home.
That's what
like
I'm
real
saying.
home.
Like you're looking
Yeah,
for a
so there-
sense of belonging everywhere.
Yeah,
And
so-
I think in this circle, we feel like we belong. I don't know if you feel that way, but I feel that way.
I mean, this is actually extremely powerful, what Michelle just mentioned. But before I go to that, I just wanted to say I was very embarrassed the first time I met them because I'd actually been trying to meet Ron for like 7 months.
Oh.
I was told
He's a hard one to
So
track
wait,
down for
so
everyone.
were you tracking his like moves and you followed him to like the gym one day?
no, I had some guy at the club at gym had told me about Ron and Michelle and all
Yeah.
this story. But every time I'd come and say, is this guy here? And then he'd say, no, I haven't seen him. And then this one day I come up and I said, hey, is by any chance you think, he said, I saw him in a locker. And I thought, oh my God, I cannot go into the locker room and meet a man. And we're upstairs. And then I thought, okay. So I did forget
That's
about
a
this.
little
This is absolutely crazy. So I carry on working out. And then at some stage, this guy, John, comes and he says to me, this is the guy over there in the corner. He's working out and he's busy pumping and stuff. And I'm thinking, the hell do I bloody say? Anyway, and then John went and talked to him for some time, came back, didn't say anything to me. And I was about to go home and I thought, no, I cannot go home because I'll never forgive myself for doing that.
I'm proud of you.
And then, and when I went to him, now he's actually busy doing, it was on a machine right next to each other. And I thought,
Michelle was there too?
yeah, but she was on the machine on the side. And I thought, this is actually just absolutely appalling because I'm interrupting this man and he's working out. I don't know I don't know him. And, why would he want to speak to me? But he was the most friendly person. And I tell
He
you,
really is.
I've lived in a lot of countries, met a lot of people. Not a lot of people are this kind and this friendly.
No,
When-
Ron is a
when-
gem for sure.
When you say, I'm sorry to bother you, when you're actually bothering them, and they said, no, it's okay, come and took the gloves off and shook my hand. and somehow there was just this, and I met Michelle after that. But there was this connection about when we started sharing a bit of a story about him growing up in India and then coming to America. He's probably one of the only people that I've met in the film industry, not that I've met a lot of people, who actually understood my journey when we talk about it, because it's first-hand knowledge. I mean, me growing up in a township, my father died when I was 13. My family thinks he was killed by witchcraft. But I think my father either had heart attack or but there was no autopsy, those days. This is like December 1977, on the 24th of December. That's when my father passed away. But anyway, and then we have a funeral a couple of weeks later. Now I had 3 sisters who got pregnant before they were 25. One of them had twins. So we're in this 4-bedroom house, 4-bedroom in the township, a small house, with nine family members and myself. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, what do I need to do to be able to get out of this situation? I ended up basically, the dream started. That's how the dream started. The story that she's talking about, this blind faith, believing that the only way I could do this was
you gotta get out.
I was going to get out, but the path I saw was I hadn't started playing tennis then, but I thought if I do well in school, and then at some stage I learned tennis, and the dream just never stopped. And
amazing.
So
you just kept going.
Yeah, I used to have this. Do you have time? Am I taking too long?
No,
I used to have this dream as a kid after I started playing tennis. Every night, of course, in the house we lived in, there was no electricity. The bathroom was outside, and we used candlesticks for electricity, for light. As soon as they blew the candles off, I would fly off the roof with this tennis racket, and I would pedal as fast as I possibly could, making sure that I didn't fall into the ocean, because I can swim, but I don't swim that well. I never had any lessons. Just petrified if I fell, and and somehow I would see these people playing tennis. It was always doubles. I don't know why. It was never any singles. And I would land and ask if I could play. And in my mind, it was America. And people would say, sure, come and play. And then and I would play. And then all of a sudden, I would always hear my mom waking up in the other room to go to my room to wake me up to go to school. Yeah. And I would just take off and I always had the guilt that I didn't even say thank you to these people.
Because I don't want you to give away the storyline. You're giving away something.
Oh yeah, you can't tell too much about your life. We're just
but anyway,
because that's going to be in the movie.
It's going to be in the movie. And the thing that really got me with him is, look, end of the day, what is your legacy? We're all going to be gone one day. What's our legacy? And
that is so true.
My legacy is I want it to be, and I think Michelle is on the same page, and I think in some way all of us, I want to leave the world a better place than I found it. And what better way to do it than storytelling? And I agree. And I'm going to tell you something that you brought up. In some ways, you're right. We are outsiders. We don't fit in. But I have so many white friends that don't fit in.
Of course.
I meet so many people that are American, born in America, but they don't belong. Yeah. Like they get picked on because they're nerdy or whatever, right?
Of course, in school bullies.
Bullies, right? We went through that. So when I got to college, I protected all the kids that were bullied. Like nobody would touch them because of me, because I was bullied in high school. And once I built myself up. So my point is, the message that resonated with his story is yes, he's not famous today, but he will be after the movie comes out. Because the reality is, it's not about being famous. You can't
laugh. You got to believe.
No, but the thing is, it's not about what does being famous do? Being famous allows you to touch other people's lives and give them hope.
Yes,
okay?
That they can do it.
And give them faith that they can do it. I mean, the reason we're sharing this story, like you said it to me and a bunch of people, even the lady who runs the Nevada film, she goes, you've been here 28, 29 years. We don't even know you. I said, I stay invisible. I don't, and you were like,
I was like, you should be on magazines. What's wrong with you?
But I don't do interviews. I don't talk about it.
That's like what I want to do. Like, be on magazines.
Yeah, but my thing is, I want our work to speak for itself. Yes, right.
I understand what you and Michelle do. You're behind the scenes. You want the world to see the stories that you are telling.
Well, nothing makes bigger noise than your work.
Absolutely.
If my work resonates with you, how you felt last night or today when you watched the movie, how he felt when he watched Trees of Peace.
It made an impact.
That made the impact. right?
work so hard, you can't be denied.
That's right.
I don't
Steve
want to.
Martin
I
said
don't want to
that.
have to tell you what my name is, but you're going to know my name by my work.
That's amazing.
And it's kind of
And we live in a society where everything's social media. Look at me. I did this, and people embellish, and we're the opposite. Most of the time, I'm talking about how much I love my wife on social media. And
You're
people
always
go,
telling how much you love your wife on
and
social
people always
media.
go, "You're
probably
lying.
fake.
If you're
That's
so
what they
great, if
say.
you love your wife so much, your relationship is nothing like that." And I'm like,
Oh
first of
no,
all,
it is like that. I'm like,
well, I don't care.
I'm a
what
witness.
I don't care what other people think. But the reason I share the story is this: I literally get messages. Goes, do you think marriages have hope? We've been together almost 20 years, been married.
Knock on wood.
And
Yeah.
my point is, we're best friends. So I want people to look at us and go, "This is possible." It doesn't matter how
I
many
think
divorces.
that's the best relationship is a working relationship too,
Yeah.
where you both,
we have to be best friends.
yes, best friends. That is very true.
You have to have respect. Without respect, there's no relationship.
Yes.
You have to have faith, trust, and friendship.
Yes.
And without that, there's no real relationship. Do you know how many people I know that have been divorced 2 times, 3 times, and they've given up on love? And I always say, if you don't believe in the magic, it will never happen to you.
And you know what I love is what a lot of South Asian men do not do for their wives or for their like who they're with. They don't go up to their family and say, "Don't you dare say anything about her. You better show her respect." Because when the woman feels a lack of respect in a man's family, there's conflict for the rest of your life.
That's right.
And I love that Ron was a lot like, my brothers didn't really have to say that because my parents are very like easygoing, and my mom's a little standoffish about everything. She just wants her kids to be happy. And rarely do South Asians parents that have boys want their boys to succeed in their marriages. They're more like a competition kind of thing. So I love how Ron went up to his family and said, I'm never going to hear anything against Michelle.
Oh, when I was going on stage.
Yes, when you're going on
competing,
stage
In
competing.
our
Yeah,
culture,
it's-
women
I
right after
love
they get
that.
married, they don't wear a bikini and get on stage.
No, and that was right
and
after
it's
the
a
marriage.
huge thing. And I called my family up on a big call, and I said, anybody talk crap about my wife, you will see the worst side of me.
Yeah.
And everybody's scared of me anyway. So I basically I made it known that what she's doing is extremely hard as a woman.
Yes.
And funny thing is, all these people, I'm sure they spoke crap behind our back for a little bit,
But
the
not to
moment,
you, so it didn't
not
affect
to
your
me.
marriage.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't going to let anything affect my marriage that way, right? But funny thing is, when Michelle, when she won, right before she won, Tiger Woods' company signed her. Her picture was on Times Square billboard. All of a sudden, my family loved
Michelle.
her. Yeah, she doesn't talk about her stuff at all. She's just this is how she is. She's very understated.
But I think that's why I've joined Ron. Like when I told you I loved movies, music, magazines, all that, the fitness. I never knew that I could actually produce a movie. I didn't even know that. Like I didn't understand the producer role. So when I came on board with Ron, I started just filling in all the gaps of what needs. I just do what needs to be done. I guess is kind of what because you were saying I was multi-hyphenated.
Yes,
But
multi-hyphenated.
to kind of circle back to
Richmond.
Richmond and just filmmaking and storytelling and all of us. I love how filmmaking, like we're sitting here now and we're talking about being bullied or all these challenges we had in life, but it relates, right? Like you guys have gone through it yourself. Yeah. You've gone through these feelings, and that's what movies and storytelling can do, connect us all in some sort of way. And that's what I think is.
The bullying, I'm a counselor for Clark County School District here in Las Vegas. I mean, the kids stories you hear about kids being bullied which is interesting because growing up, I think for me, I was a bit sheltered because I played tennis every day.
Yeah.
So I never really dealt with a lot of stuff going on in the township. That was basically my ticket. But making that example about all the things that... Actually, Ron raised an interesting point that there's a lot of, white people who don't fit in. And very often when we don't fit in, sometimes we think it's just because we're not from here. But there's a lot of other people who are going through a lot of similar things like we do, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about bullying, I see this at school for all the time, or give kids that are trans and trans. There's issues about the bathroom and all this kind of stuff.
Course.
But
Yeah, I think the world. I think we're all experiencing such craziness in the world right now. We always
It's
talk
just
like
a
I came
shift,
from the tech industry,
yes.
so I was actually like advising boards on AI and the future of AI, and we're all talking about AI is going to take over. It's going to take over humans. It's still a tool, but at the end of the day, I think we all need these stories and connections and a little bit more empathy and understanding, and maybe seeing something from a different viewpoint to better understand what other people. Because if you think about it, all of us, if you go to the grocery store and you just walk the halls, if you really stop and look, every single person you see is going through some kind of hardship, whether or not you see them in a Bentley or
Of course,
you know, like some
absolutely.
broken
They're
out car,
fighting a
right?
battle.
We're all fighting some kind of battle that no one knows nothing about.
I manage money for wealthy. I manage money for doctor, lawyers, producers,
Yeah.
directors, actors. One of the things I will tell you is I've seen more people with money that are killing themselves, that are depressed, that go through things. Money is not the answer.
More money, more problems.
More money, more problems. I mean, don't get me wrong. Money can help your life. But
Money might solve
just
some.
because
It
you're
can
rich,
destroy your life.
It can destroy your life, right?
Absolutely.
Give a person with money, make them really rich, and they'll show you who they are. If they're horrible people, they're going to make the world worse. If they're
Yes.
kind, they're going to spread kindness in the world.
Absolutely.
Money accentuates who you are.
I just want to tie in one quick thing. I want to give a couple quick shout outs. I have been in the studio before to do a podcast. I want to give a shout out to gorillacross.com, the studio, and Kwan, because
Yes.
I
Kwan
really
and Lana.
appreciate
Me too, Kwan
and what I really
and
appreciate is
Lana.
what you have set up is so professional. It's so, I mean, anytime I want to come here to do a podcast because I appreciate professionalism in anything you do.
And we have a whole studio at home. We have,
We
all
have
the
our own
equipment,
studio, and this is
but
amazing.
yeah.
So and Lana, nice meeting you, and
Lana, Kwan,
And you
Gorilla-
guys, Lana has a podcast also. So I can't be on it, but maybe you can. So look out for her podcast as well.
It's called Laughing with Lana.
It's called Laughing with Lana.
yes,
So-
and it's very real as it should be.
It's a very, very
As it should
real
be.
living in Vegas. Absolutely. You need to follow her.
Yeah, but I thank you for having us today. I know you've waited a long time to do this, and I'm going to circle back once again. Don't let other people define who you are
or what you
You're-
should
so
do.
and
or what you
age
should-
means nothing. 50 is the new 30. Go to the gym, lift weights. Lifting weights is actually the fountain of youth. It's not about vanity. It actually it helps you deal with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And for Michelle and I, everything actually goes through the gym.
Yeah.
We met Richmond at the gym, right?
You did? That's what I said. I'm like, I guess I need to hit the gym.
Yeah, and we meet great people, and the most important thing is be kind to the world.
No,
Be kind to yourself.
Yes.
Be kind to yourself with
others.
you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know.
You're hard on
I know.
yourself.
They've hung out with me and they know. And I've talked to Ron for like over a year, I think a year now. And we're going to give a shout out to our mutual friend, Asad Ali.
Right.
And, but that was just a random coincidence that happened. He's not why we met. But I saw something on Instagram. It caught my eye and I was very intrigued and I reached out to him and he was so kind, so nice. And I really appreciate you waiting on your wife to come here because Michelle is dynamic in her own. And the fact that you are so caring as individuals, I appreciate you bringing Richmond on here as well. Because then I wouldn't know Richmond. And then I'm so grateful to be here with all of you guys today. And I just want to say, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you.
I
So
really
Thank you for
appreciate
having
you.
us. And thank you to you guys.
yeah. Thank you, Kwan.
Juan and Lana, thank you.
So you
Thank you,
guys,
Xavier.
I want you guys to go and watch Trees of Peace. It's on Netflix. Go watch it and wait for Richmond's story to come out. And his name is Ron Ray and Michelle Ray. Look them up. They're amazing.
I'll just give you our Instagram. Mine is RR Film Production,
Mm-hmm.
and Michelle's is the Michelle Ray, RAY, not REY. And you should give yours.
Everybody knows being.sadaf is my Instagram.
And Richmond, yours. He's not a big Instagram person, but Zulu
Zulu Dreams.
Dreams.
Zulu Dreams.
Yeah.
Just
At Zulu Dreams.
you guys, the book.
Yes.
Go buy the book and read it.
And definitely check out gorillacross.com. I'm
Yes.
a huge fan.
Come here, do your
Yeah.
podcast. We're here to give all the shout outs.
Yes.
So yes.
And Lana, what's your
Laughing with Lana.
Laughing with Lana?
Laughing with
Laughing
Lana.
with Lana. All right.
One day I'll be here. I'm gonna come on Laughing with Lana. So
We
we'll
just
see.
met Lana, but I think I'm gonna put her in something that I'm gonna do next. I already have it.
All right. So our segment comes to an end, and thank you all very
Thank
much.
you.
And I look forward to your next production. I can't wait.
Can I give one more shout out?
Absolutely.
Xavier, get behind me. I
Yes.
want you guys to meet this guy. So Xavier is a videographer. Listen, I'm all about good people. And I don't know if you can hear, you might have to come down to
gotta
my.
go
You gotta go down. Yeah.
Come down to our
I'm all
level.
about good people.
Yeah.
Xavier's really tall.
Yeah.
So I'm all about good people, and he's an amazing videographer, photographer. And if you guys are looking for something in Vegas, he's great. He's somebody I really count on, very reliable, and I wanted to give a shout out to him. So
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
thank
so
you
much.
guys.
Thank you all very much. And I look forward to everything that you guys have in store. And best of luck with everything.
Thanks, Sadaf.
Thank you.
too.
Thank you, Sadaf.